Get going. I got to find the right side of the paper. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Cavaliers guard Donovan Mitchell, at minimum, will miss at least the next 3 games after receiving treatment on a bum knee. How significant is this loss for the Cavs, considering they're teetering right now and they have the 8th hardest schedule for the remainder of the season?
What's the next 3 games? They
Boston,
got Boston tonight.
Atlanta, and Minnesota. The next 3 games.
See, this is what man.
It's frustrating.
It is, because I remember sitting there with Jay Friday, and we was talking about the next 12 games. And he was like, March 29th or whatever, we're going to know who the Cleveland Cavaliers are. We're going to know if they're a serious team or not. And now the other guys are starting to get hurt. It's hard to find out, and it's unfortunate, because I like Boston is off this really hot streak. They just beat Golden State by like 50, like 50-something points or something like that.
They beat Golden State.
Yeah, it was bad. Jaylen Brown did a really good job guarding Steph Curry, so that was crazy. But now that Donovan's out and all these other guys are starting to get these injuries, it's making these games not fun. Like, I wanted to see. We're not going to really know what we need to know. Like, of course you're going to get some backups that's going to have to step up. Like, it was nice seeing Sam Merrill step up. It was nice to see Okoro hitting them shots. Hey! So it was nice seeing those things, but at the end of the day, you need to see your alpha. You need to see your #1 guy, and you need to see what this team is going to look like. You know, I was sitting back and I heard Patrick Beverley talking to Dame Lillard, and he was telling Dame to take the 40-foot shots, because you need to take, as a teammate, I need to know in playoff time, like, I need to start practicing for rebounding and stuff like that. I feel like the same thing happens when you got Donovan Mitchell. Like, we need to see you in full mode. I need to know how you're going to be in the playoffs. I don't want you to rev up and start taking 30 shots in the playoffs, because, like, we're going to be like, he gunning. You know, I want to see you do that now, so now I can get myself prepared on how I need to play, how I fit in as a player when we come playoff time. And I think we missing those precious moments right now with these guys being out of the lineup. So it waters down the next 3 games for sure.
Late in that next game, Darius had a possession. He's driving. Isaac was in this corner. Mobley was in that corner. You know which one the Knicks guarded? Neither one. And that's the reality. And that's what that's why I keep talking about with Isaac, and you're seeing it with Evan too. That's why Evan's got to shoot those and make those. And Isaac, he's having a phenomenal year. And Mike and I were talking the other night. He's making himself a ton of money right now. Teams still aren't going to guard him until he does it in the playoffs, until he does it in crunch time. And the Knicks just proved it the other night. But I don't think this Donovan thing is that terrible. I've been saying all year long, find another way to win a game other than give it to Donovan and get out of the way. Well, guess what? You're playing really good teams now without Donovan Mitchell. You're going to have to find ways to play left-handed. You're going to have to find ways to go win games without your best player, where it's not just give it to Donovan and get out of the way. So ultimately, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And that was a bad loss the other night. It was a really bad loss. I'm not going to overreact to one loss. It did conjure up a lot of the criticisms of last year, true, but it's still only 1 loss in the regular season, and it exposed some things that we kind of knew about them already. And I think, I haven't written this yet, but I think Tristan Thompson could play a really big role for this team in moments in a postseason series against a team like the Knicks. And whoever would have thought that we would have said that?
Where were you at
in October?
Where were you at on Friday when I was talking about how
we did a whole segment on that Friday?
Oh, well, I don't know. I didn't see Friday.
Yeah,
I do try and watch when I'm not on. I do try and pop in and out.
KYC version.
But I didn't see it. But no, I think he can help them.
They need him.
But with Donovan being out the next couple of games, okay, you still have Darius Garland and Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. That's more than enough to go win NBA basketball games. And the Celtics are beat up tonight. I think Porzingis is questionable. Jaylen Brown's questionable. We'll see if they wind up playing or not. I don't know if they're going to have a shoot-around down the street here this morning or not. Maybe we'll know of their availability. But the Cavs still have enough. Go in the game. I don't want to hear excuses about you don't have Donovan.
You're comfortable with Darius Garland versus Jason Tatum, their best player versus our best player right now.
You don't feel comfortable with Tatum versus Mitchell?
Tatum's better. Tatum's the better player.
I feel more comfortable with Tatum versus Mitchell.
Well, yeah, of course you feel more comfortable, but
I feel like
Tatum's a better player.
They can
Tatum versus
definitely,
Garland's not
but
even
they
a
still
conversation.
they could like if Tatum go for 30, Spider could go for 30. Like I'm not, I'm not willing to say that right
Darius
now.
can go for 45.
He's gone for 50 before.
Yeah. Tatum's the better player. I'm not arguing with you.
Yes, I'm not arguing that either.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I am more comfortable with in the crunch time.
You know what? It's March. You're at home. You got the best team in the league on your court. Go beat them. Go win the game. You're at home.
To your point, Davis, no one's arguing the Cavs are better without Donovan Mitchell. I'll give you some numbers just to back up how much different the Cavs have been this season with Mitchell on the court versus Mitchell off the court. And I apologize for reading off the phone, but there's a lot of numbers. I want to make sure I get this right. Donovan has a plus 9.7 net rating. It's the highest of any starter on the Cavs, highest of any player. Their second highest starter's net rating is Jarrett Allen, plus 7.2. So he's over 2 points better than any other starter. When Mitchell's on the court this season, the Cavs' offensive rating, 116.7. Their defensive rating with Mitchell on the court, 107.1. When Donovan's on the bench, their offensive rating is just 111.3, down 5.5 points. Their defensive rating is 112.8, up 5.5 points.
Okay.
To give you guys a little context, what 5.5 points is, in terms of offensive rating, a 5.4 drop in offensive rating is the equivalent of Boston at number 1 in the league to Cleveland at number 15. Pretty significant drop.
That's a big drop.
Defensively, a drop of 5.7 defensive net rating is a drop from Minnesota, number 1 in the league, to the Clippers at number 12 in the league.
Still a big
So
drop.
they're a significantly different team without Donovan, just like every team in the league would be without their best player. But to Jason's point, and I think the big picture here for the next 3 games, and if he does miss more than just those 3, the next 2 after that are Brooklyn and Phoenix at home and back-to-back Sunday, Monday here, is in the Knicks game when Brunson went down, the 3 best players on the court should have been Darius,
Yep.
Evan, and Jarrett.
Yep.
And that's why I thought that loss was, if not their worst loss of the season, in the conversation to be their worst loss.
For sure.
Now, tonight, they won't have the 3 best players on the court. You could frankly make the case that even without Brown and Porzingis, the Celtics may have 2 of the 3 best. Hell, you can make the case they may have 3 of the best.
Drew, Tatum. You putting Derek White up there?
Derek White's a phenomenal player.
He is a very
I'm
good
just saying,
player.
you can make the argument. And we'll talk about the top 50 players. One of those 2 guys he mentions on it, and some Cavs aren't. So we'll talk about that in a sec. But this is a chance for Darius. No Donovan. It's 2021, 2022. Let's see All-Star Darius again. Evan, this is your chance to show up, my friend. Jarrett, you can't have 4 rebounds like you did against Chicago. You can't shy away in the clutch moments like you did against New York. This is your opportunity to kind of cement what the Cavs need you to be come playoff time. And to Jason's point, he said it every time we've talked about the Cavs the last 3 weeks. I want to see what they do left-handed. When Donovan's not there, what does this team look like? Well, this is a built-in, and I'm not calling it an excuse, this is a built-in trial run to see what lineups work best, how to best optimize the 5, 6 guys, 7 guys you have healthy in the rotation, and how to get Darius back to being 2021, 2022 Darius.
I tell you what, it will be an interesting game. One thing I will tune in to see, what I will check on, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I'm going to tune in or check on is Darius versus Drew Holiday, because we know Drew Holiday is known as one of the top.
And Derek White. 2 of the best on-ball defensive guards in all of basketball.
So if Darius can find some offensive light, which he has all the potential to do, if he could get a nice scoring output against them, okay, that's something to be like, all right, come playoff time, I can count on you in the playoffs, which I'm not really worried about. A lot of people are. I'm not worried about Darius in the playoff scenario. I think he can still get buckets, but this is one of those situations where it's you want the ball, you want to be the man. You want to have that responsibility where you want to wave Mitchell off sometimes and be like, I got this. You got a perfect opportunity to go do it tonight.
You know what's special about the 21-22 Darius Garland? He didn't have another ball-dominant guard playing next to him.
And he also had Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
This is that team with more shooting around him.
Yeah.
This should be, theoretically speaking, the best version to unlock all of Darius' skill set.
And I will say this. Give me see that, Steve. Let me see that. I'm going to say this. I'm going to let you know something. This is serious talk. And we can't out-rebound a shooting guard with 2 big men, then why are we running 2 big men? We need to switch that up. I mean, the fact that Hart has so many rebounds.
Hart killed them in that postseason series.
Like
He
this
killed
is,
them again
but
the other night.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why are we running? The reason you run 2 bigs is to dominate the paint.
To do what Chicago did to them
Yeah.
last week.
If it's not effective and we still get beat on it, why are we doing it?
I asked JB before the game before the Knicks game, like Chicago inserted Andre Drummond specifically for the Cavs. Andre Drummond's a bench player at this point in his career, but he starts against Cleveland. Why? Because they know they can push around these inside bigs. Like the Cavs are going to struggle with 2 big lineups, with big physical bigs. Because, I mean, Jarrett Allen, for as athletic as he is, he's about that wide.
Yeah.
And Evan Mobley's about that wide.
Yeah.
So you can muscle these guys around, and that's where, again, I think the Tristan component comes back into this, where I think he can help this team, even if it's just on a couple possessions, even if it's just to sort of muck things up a little bit with some of these bigger bigs. It's not that Tristan's that big, but he is physical, and he will put his nose in there. And I think, we got to wait and see what he looks like when he comes back from the suspension, if he's still the same player.
McNuggets said that his PEDs that he was taking was to reduce fat, right? It was like a fat burner.
There's side effects and there's.
I
don't know the exact PED he used.
I don't want to misspeak on this.
That's why I don't want to say.
Don't speak
No,
on
but
it,
I wrote it when it happened, and I thought it was like a muscle builder.
I thought maybe
I thought
muscle
it was-
builder, fat reducer.
It could be a twofer. Yeah, I mean.
We got to see.
It was the good stuff.
We got to
he
see.
got
But
caught
I
for
tell
it.
you what, the test for me, and this is, I know a lot of people going to take this with a grain of salt, but after we lost to Chicago played the Bucks. And I'm like, oh, okay. They ran out there and they put Drummond out there with Vucevic out there. And I was like, well, let's see what Giannis do. 46 points. That's what he did. So, Evan, you need to go DM Giannis or ask him what it was that he took or what he did in the offseason. You need to build you some muscle because it's there for the taking. Like, if Giannis can pull it, he was exactly as slim as you, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah.
At 19, he was frail. I don't know what he looked like at 22, but he was already in the muscle building.
Well, he needed to get on that treatment.
His story is what I mean. He was literally nutrient deficient
That's
until
true.
he was an adult. A very different scenario than Evan Mobley.
You can build muscle.
But 2 things I want to point out here. A, this injury is coming at I guess, I don't want to call it a good time. There's never a good time for an injury like this. But to Jason's point, there's enough time for him to come back, get 100% healthy for the
talking about
playoff
Donovan?
run. Donovan's injury, yeah.
And it's just 3 games.
Even if it's
to
3 or
start.
4, yeah. It's a
To
PRP
start.
shot.
He's
a sore
being
knee.
reevaluated after 3. He easily could miss more than 3.
So two
That's
things.
just to
Two
start.
things with that. He's played 47 games this season. The Cavs have 22 games left. If he misses just these 3 and he plays the other 19, he's still eligible for postseason awards. It's a 65 games threshold. If he misses 2 more, let's say a back-to-back on Sunday and Monday, which could be this week, Brooklyn and Phoenix, ineligible for postseason awards. But I know it's not the end-all, be-all goal. The Cavs have much bigger aspirations than Donovan Mitchell being a first-team All-NBA guy. But he was having an MVP-caliber season, at least in the conversation. He's not in the Jokic, SGA, Giannis conversation, but in that top 5, top 6
Others
level.
receiving votes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's an accomplishment.
For sure.
So it's going to suck for him if he does take a little longer than just these 3 games, that he'll be ineligible because of these new NBA rules. But on a bigger picture for the Cavs, I still believe the 2 seed's crucial for them in the postseason. And now they fall into the 3 seed. They're half a game behind Milwaukee. And with Donovan out, we're going to need Darius, Jarrett, Evan. Hopefully Max gets back healthy. His injury's not anything serious. Same with Isaac, Karras, George Niang. Anytime you want to make a shot, my friend, it'd be more than welcome. we could use 1 or 2 or 6 or 7, please. Dean Wade, Sam Merrill. All these guys have to come together to keep the Cavs afloat because there is a stretch. This schedule is a gauntlet coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is a gauntlet. I can't emphasize that enough. Earl had mentioned earlier, it is the 8th hardest schedule in the NBA down the stretch, and especially up until March 26th. They play almost exclusively playoff and play-in teams. And if they do fall from the 3 seed, they got a little buffer over the 4 seed in New York right now, but I really don't want to be in that 4-5 matchup. And I would much prefer, and I think the Cavs kind of need that home court advantage in a 2-3 series against Milwaukee, just because I think the idea of having to go on the road to Milwaukee for a Game 7 in the second round of the playoffs, the outlook of that game looks drastically different at the Pfizer Forum or whatever it's called in Milwaukee versus at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Yeah. So I do think it is really critical for this team to kind of come together. We saw them rally when DJ and Mobley went out. That's when they went on this 18-2 stretch.
Yeah.
It's time for them to rally
Well,
together
that's
without Donovan here and keep the team afloat.
That's actually interesting you bring that up because if they, for the next, let's say he's out for 5 games. For the next 5 games, if the offense did look like it did in 18-2, I think you kind of got your answer for moving forward. Like, maybe it's something about the 2 small guard thing. Like, maybe you only do need one ball dominant guy. If they're swinging the ball around and they're effective, the offense is looking good, they're hitting shots, like maybe you do need to think about running those type of lineups again. I just think it's just something to monitor.
Darius's best season was when Colin was hurt, when he had the ball in his hands. Donovan was in Utah. Colin Sexton was having knee surgery, and Darius was running the show. That was his best
Colin
season.
Sexton, I don't really want to hear his name. He cost me $500 last night. I'm done with it.
Tyvis's burn book of people who have screwed him in
done with it.
parlays is
No,
now
'cause he did,
almost as
man.
long as the encyclopedia.
All of a sudden, he want to be great last night. I didn't even know he got assists like that. I had him on points and assists, 29.5. He blew that out the water. Dude all had 29 points alone and like 7 assists. Like, where'd this come from?
So you're happy?
No, I had
you
the
went
under.
you went
Yeah.
Under on assists?
Under on points and
On
assists.
points and assists.
It was 29.5 points and assists combined.
Make your point. You're making a great
Go
point.
ahead.
Yeah.
I don't remember the point. Was.
Ball
Darius
dominant.
Garland.
Darius' best season. Now, is that the best version of the Cavs? I don't know, but that's the best version of Darius. Is when he's got the ball alone. I think we're seeing enough evidence of that. But you could still have, just because it's the best version of Darius doesn't mean it's the best version of the Cavs. Darius and Donovan together is still probably a better team. It is a better team than Darius alone, the best version of Darius. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah,
so
100%.
it's sacrifice. You have to sacrifice for the betterment of the team, and we'll see what happens with Donovan this summer. And you could have the same conversation with the bigs. You know, the best version of Jarrett might be without Evan on the court, but the best version of the Cavs is probably figuring out how to get these two to play together. And I think that's still a work in progress. And JB clearly agrees because he's still trying to tag team these guys in and out as much as possible and run one big on the floor as much as he can.
I referenced the numbers yesterday, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, but Jarrett Allen's net rating this season, when he's the only big on the court, so without Evan Mobley's plus 12.6. Evan Mobley's net rating when he plays without Jarrett Allen is plus 5.9. Their net rating together is 4.6.
Yeah.
So it's still a work in progress. Obviously, Evan has to shoot the play you referenced late in the fourth quarter when Darius drove on the Knicks. And Evan, we'll break this down tomorrow on the Cavs show. But if I'm driving, if the camera in front of me is the basket, Evan is wide ass open in the left corner, unguarded.
Yep.
And not only were the Knicks not guarding him, Darius didn't even consider passing to him.
And that's where
And that's the issue. It's not that they left him open. It's that it's not even a passing option for Darius, who then gets stuck with 4 guys in the paint.
Right.
It causes a turnover, and that's essentially the game. And that's where, we talk about Mobley having to shoot more threes. Even if he's not making them, he has to be a threat to where Darius can feel comfortable dishing the ball off
Darius
to him.
has to make that pass.
Has to
in
make that
moment.
pass, exactly.
And Evan has to take that shot.
Hey, I'm going to send you I took a screenshot. I'm going to send you the tweet.
They
tag
left
board.
him wide
This
open.
exact play.
And they made my boy Evan touch the earth on the opposite.
That was one of the nastiest moves I've seen in person.
Which one?
He got it. The dude came down, hit him with the end, and now the Evan he gave it up to the Lord. Oh Lord,
Yeah.
I was like, man.
And I just sent that to you. Put that in tag board when you get a sec. But no, that was one of the nastiest in and out crossers I've ever seen.
And he looking for loose change. It was
Yeah,
bad. It was bad.
Do you know what play I'm talking about?
It was bad. You didn't see it.
Well, we
He
can't-
talked about it on Twitter. That's how I seen it.
Yeah, I'll show you. I don't know if this fits under the fair play rule of NBA video.
I left the game. I went for pregame and then I left and watched the game at home, so I didn't see.
He gave it up to the Lord. I'm telling you. You're going to be like, good night.
Who crossed him over?
I don't even know
Deuce
who.
McBride.
Who? I see.
This makes for riveting TV. Hang on, I gotta watch. Oh my God!
I know.
Boy, looking for
Evan
loose
Mobley,
change, ain't he?
all-time great defender
He
so
looked
far
like
in his
a
career
baby
early
giraffe.
on. But yeah, he touched
Searching
the
for his
ground.
mama.
It was tough. When you get that in tag, we'll kind of break that down. But with the spacing, you can't have good spacing with 2 bigs, by the way. Like, it's actually not the spacing with the 2 bigs. Here's the play I'm referencing. Now, I know it's kind of small on tag board, but Evan Mobley is standing in the left corner there.
Oh, I didn't know this was out there.
Wait, what
Yeah,
you
so
see?
Evan Mobley's in the left corner. He's kind of
And Isaac's
I
in the
see
right.
Isaac.
Isaac's
And
in the right
to
corner.
But I don't,
Look at that.
Oh, I see
Evan's in
Evan
the
now.
top.
He was blended in.
You see
now.
4 Knicks. There are 1, 2, 3, 4,
You gotta
5, 6.
kick
There's
that.
7 7 feet in the paint. Now, this play ends up being a turnover, by the way. Darius tries
Shocking.
kicking it out. There's nowhere for him to go. Now, you could say it's kind of a reckless drive on Darius's part to be driving into the paint, but he also, I guess you could say he should anticipate the fact that they're not even going to guard Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
The fact they're not, you have to kick it to the corner, but he didn't even look his way.
This is the time to make
that's
that
the issue.
play.
Yeah,
It's March. Make the pass. Make the pass to Evan. Let Evan take that corner three. If he makes that, you know what that does for the confidence of everybody?
Yeah.
And what Tom Thibodeau clearly has said, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. Like, you guys can stand there all day long. We're not scared of you. We're going to follow him. But the way that you loosen that up is by making that pass and having him make that shot. And until that happens, that's going to continue.
And the fact that he didn't even consider it.
Yeah.
That block,
That's-
which is crazy because Evan he didn't hit some threes. He'd have put it on tape that he could make them. That's
He hasn't
kinda,
shot many lately.
I
Last
know,
couple
yeah,
games, his
yeah.
3-point attempts have kind of tallied down. And I thought he had a couple. Was it Chicago? He took 2 or 3 early, missed them. And then I thought he got a little shot hesitant, even though he had some good looks. But to what we talked about earlier, I just want to see him shoot those.
Yeah.
You have to shoot them. And even if they don't go in, the defense knowing, hey, he may shoot that, and at the end of a shot clock,
I told you
I don't
what
want
it
to give a
is.
guy a wide-ass open three
Right.
in the corner. Like,
Right.
that has to be someone. I also saw a stat, speaking of corner threes. I'm going to pull this up real quick. This is
Man,
from
gotta-
NBA
You
University.
gotta say F it.
The team percentage on corner threes this year, which is the
Easiest.
easiest three and the shot teams want the most. The Pelicans shoot 43% as a team from the corner. That's deadly.
I'm about to say that's
The
really
Cavs
good.
are 26th in the league in
Really?
corner threes, which doesn't match my eye test.
No, me
It doesn't
neither.
match.
What is it? What's the percent?
37.5%.
That's not terrible, but
Well, it's not good in comparison to the rest of the league when you
Yeah.
have guys, Boston second in the league, Milwaukee third, Brooklyn fourth, Clippers 5, OKC 6, Indianapolis 7th, the Knicks 8th, Minnesota 9th, Phoenix 10th. Like, so most of the best teams in the league are in that top 10.
I'm just spitballing. Is that Niang struggles? And, Max hasn't shot it great, but I don't know how many have been from the corner. Isaac's been money from the
Isaac's
corner.
been money. Yeah, he has to have one of the highest corner three percentages
Yeah.
in the
Tell
league,
you,
I'd assume.
I'm gonna say it again, because I said it about 2 months ago. Sam Merrill is who we thought Max Strus was supposed to be, as far as shooting.
I don't think anyone expected Strus to be a flame-throwing 40% three-point shooter.
You thought he would be the best shooter on your team?
I thought he was an upgrade at the three, which he was at the time.
Over Okoro?
Over Okoro.
I agree with that.
I don't know. If Isaac keeps shooting like this, I don't know.
Now,
but at the time, he was an upgrade over.
The quality of their looks are very different, too. Isaac's looks, for the most part, this is no disrespect to Isaac,
Well,
not
he's
taking
open.
anything away. Teams are leaving him open,
Yes.
and he's making wide open threes, which is what you need him to do.
Yes.
Max, they're running plays for. He's coming off down screens, coming off
Yes.
pin downs. They even ran a little elevator set 2 games ago that I hadn't seen before, where he kind of came through 2 screens, closed the door. So Isaac's not getting those.
That play.
What Darius ran the other day, too, and it was a thing
I
of beauty.
love that play.
But Isaac's attempts and the degree of difficulty do not equal Max's.
Totally fair.
Which you do have to kind of look at the numbers with a little context and know, 40% on wide open, 33% on contested coming off screens. But with that being said, Isaac Okoro's made himself $80 to $100 million this summer. I'm serious.
He's
been phenomenal.
This is all Golden State's fault. It's Steph Curry's fault. If they didn't shoot the ball, so would they changed the whole game?
they changed the
Yeah.
game.
It was a mid-range to inside game, and Aiden came and everybody hitting all these trays. And now if you can't shoot threes, you can't really hang.
You know what really changed the game? 2001, when they changed the rules about guarding and illegal defense and zone defense. David Stern and Jerry Colangelo were hell-bent on loosening up the game and spreading up the game. That's what changed the game. And then Golden State broke the game when they got all these shooters together. And that was not the plan. Like, I don't think that they planned to necessarily do it that way. It was very organic. Whoever thought Draymond Green was going to become the player that he did. And prime Draymond was a beast as a second-round pick.
Elite, yeah.
Elite.
That game we beat them in the finals. Didn't he hit like 4 threes or something like that? He was like
I don't
he
remember.
was cashing out that game.
Yeah, he had a great game 7.
Yeah.
I think I talked about it before. The Cavs were trying to get Klay Thompson in that draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They thought they were close to getting up and getting a third top 10 pick. They were going after Klay.
Blew it.
Imagine how much different history would be if they got Kyrie and Klay.
LeBron with Klay Thompson in his peak would have been
Sick.
the literal perfect
Yeah.
pair. Oh, my. That's.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought.
That's who they're going after.
I mean, he was great with Steph and Draymond, don't get me wrong, but that is the
I'm gonna say he got 4 rings.
ideal two-guard next to LeBron.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
Yeah. What could have been? At least we got a ring out of all
They
of
did
this.
get a ring
you know?
out
We
of
got-
Speaking of shooting, Okoro, questionable tonight. Max Strus, questionable tonight. Karis LeVert, questionable tonight. And Earl, give us 3 before we break down a little bit of the Celtics.